Hello, what's up? How's it going, boys? It's Sora once again, and this is, I forgot which part is it, but this part is me covering for dark teams. So, yes, this is my dark team. As always, if you want to know what grid am I using or whatever shit, you can check in my loadouts or in the description below and all that good stuff. And keep in mind that for my dark, I am using Hades. I am pretty deep in the MET shit, so I am actually using that. You don't have to do that. You can actually go with like the typical Magna 1 / Magna 2 setup. You can just use, if you're using Magna 1, you can have like 3 or 4 claws, and then you can have three avatar sticks. That should give you enough HP. If it's not enough HP, you can slot in another Baha weapon if you need more HP. That works too. But the other thing you want to keep in mind is that you will, if you're using the standard Magna 1 stuff, you definitely will not suffer from any lack of damage or whatever shit. And yeah, you really don't need to bother all too much unless your characters are super scuffed or whatnot. Then probably that might be a little bit problematic. And for this specific one, I'm highlighting is something that probably most of you shouldn't do, especially if you are super new, because if you see on the screen, it is 4 out of 5, because it is a 5-man run for this one. This run that I'm gonna show you guys is basically one of those runs where I originally wanted to run with my crew, just we go 4-man just for shit and giggles, right? Because I don't think we had any other things to do at that time, so we just wanted to fuck around. So we did it wanted to do it with 4-man, but then another crewmate can he join, and he wants to get carried. So yeah, so then we have 5 players. So usually you don't want to do that. It's because we are already like relatively like geared and shit. So this kind of thing should not be a problem. So anyway, let's start, shall we? So yes, it's only 5 players. I'm dark. And I forgot to mute myself. But yeah. I'm gonna pause here. Okay, so first things first, I am using 6, a Black Knight and Zoe. My backline is mostly concealed for extra characters, which I honestly don't think I really need, but I just slot them in just in case that I fuck up or something. Then at least I can still try to do something, because why not, right? My backline is Shalim and Vasiraga. So if you look at my lineup, every single character I have are not going to be killed by the Golfer's Arc thing, which is the whole racial bullshit thing. Because once again, if you didn't know, MC is exempted. 6 is Erun, Black Knight is human, Zoe is a primal, and backline I have Shalim. Shalim is unknown, so it doesn't collide with MC because it's the first one, and Vasiraga is Doraf. So they're all different. I'm not going to take any counters and whatever. And one thing's for sure, if you're playing Dark has like so many options, man. You have so many fucking options with Dark. You can go with Vikala, you can go with Clarice, you can go with fucking... you can go with Shalim. Even Vasiraga works too. You can even use like Summer Anturia as well. You can also use... you can use Nia too, but... I really suggest you to not use Nia, especially if you're starting out like for the first time or whatever shit. If you're still very new to Faa or whatever, I really highly suggest you to not use Nia, because Nia can pretty much screw you up in some way and stuff like that. But yeah, Nia is pretty damn strong here too. But anyway, yeah. Bottom line is Dark has a lot of characters that you can use for this specific one. Oh yeah, I forgot there's like Kolulu as well. But yeah, there's so many fucking Dark characters that you can use for Faa, because Dark is so freaking OP and mana, whatever, blah blah blah, yeah. But the main reason why I actually stuck to this setup for this, oh yeah, I could also mention Ray, but you shouldn't really use Ray if you're still relatively new as well. Ray and Nia is probably the 2 characters you should avoid if you're new. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. The main reason why I use this tree setup is fairly simple. Number 1, I just want to cycle Conjunction like crazy. Because Conjunction is very OP. It's very OP in this run. And also because you have to keep in mind, if you didn't know, Conjunction slash Zoe, Summer Zoe is actually the second strongest healer in the game, if you didn't know that, because you can heal up to like probably 75% or 80% of your HP after 4 turns. So yeah, it's pretty insane. And yeah, besides that, I'm using her basically just for Paradise Lost if I need to take it or whatever, because I usually am able to take it, and because Dark, well, you can take it as Dark very easily anyway. And then the other thing is that the main other thing why I chose Black Knight over like the likes of Clarice or whatever shit, because I prefer her because of her constant nukes. The constant nukes and her S4 is very strong. So I really like how she is. And not to mention, once you get her to level 100, she can double dispel and double delay as well. I just find like a utility skill like that on Black Knight is just so damn strong. And not to mention, she can consistently buff herself with her S2 or whatever. And then she can also kind of apply like a debuff or whatever shit, because that's like her constant nuke. And also keep in mind that I am using enmity in my grid. I'm pretty sure you can already tell from looking at my loadouts. So she's gonna do a fuck ton of damage, and she has that crazy S4 buff every single time she tries to sub, and then she has like a fuck ton of defense, so it kind of helps a lot as well in that regard. And for 6 though, 6 is probably one of the few things, like I have very small amount of reasons to actually use him. It's just basically 2 reasons. One, he fucking DPS like a motherfucker, right? that's just brain dead shit. He obviously like a DPS god in Dark, right? And then his second one is obviously his second skill. His second skill is really good, and I really like his second skill a lot because it synergizes with whatever most of the stuff that Faa can actually do. Especially if you Ogi, right? With 6, because you get other self, which this is not max limit break shit, by the way. If you're using the full limit break, you get other self, you get to dodge every single thing except for plane damage. So usually you kind of want to just use his S2, and then he just tanks everything, he dodges everything, and he can also counter them. And he counters up to 6 times, and then he just do some smash like crazy. You just see him doing some smash really quickly. And then after that, if you're also going through another say triggers, because he has a new passive, I think it's his 95 or some shit, I forgot. His new passive, which allows him to do God knows how many fucking hits counter thingy every single time he goes through, or any of the boss goes through their own special attack. So lots of DPS there. It helps out a lot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, for my MC, I decided to run Clear, Dispel, and Hardened Shield. The reason why I'm using Clear is because I'm a very good teammate. Honestly, it's a lot better for you to go sub though, that's for sure. 100%. It's much better to go with sub, but like, because you know, most of the runs that I always run with my Dark, we always have that problem, lacking of clears and shit. So it's like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking bring Clear, okay? It's like, who cares, fine, it's fine. I have 2 coconut trees, I should be able to tank shit just fine anyway, right? So why not? Okay. So anyway, moving on. So at the start of the raid, it's very safe to actually just conjunction. Because if you already have enough if you're like 30 plus K HP or whatever, and you have like, I don't know, relatively good amount of HP. Yeah, just really good amount of HP. Like, say, I think around like, put it like close to like 33 to 35k HP on your characters. Like, I'm fairly certain your MC is going to be a lot higher, but like the rest of your characters, right? If you have around that much, conjunction should be more than enough to sustain in turn 1. But anyway, if you're too afraid, you can probably not do that. And then you, I don't know, just use Vikala or some shit if you're scared. I guess. But either way, I conjunction turn 1 also because, well, I'm MET, I have coconut trees in my grid. So yes, it benefits me a lot. Excuse me. And the other thing, if you also notice that my Zoe has the lowest HP in the game. In my Dark team right now. Like in my team, my Zoe has the lowest HP. So what I usually tend to do, this is obviously like muscle memory by now. What I usually do is that I will S4, Black Knight's S4 onto Zoe, just so she doesn't take too much damage, and also because like she doesn't have much defense and she's the lowest HP in my team. 6 is fine because he has his own dodges and stuff and shit. MC is, well, MC is already at 14,000 HP here. My MC is fine. My MC would definitely survive a lot of shit because my MC's HP is just fucking loaded anyway. So a lot of times that what I tend to do is a conjunction. So as you can see here, I'll just dispel first. Very important, dispel. Conjunction, cast all the shit on Zoe. It's best if you don't take a Lance either way, because you kind of waste one Lance anyway. So that's one of the main reasons why I just tend to ask whoever's gonna link Lance, which is usually the light guy, to just hold on a little bit. So I S4 on Zoe and I press S2 and then I press S1 on 6 as well, because his S1 rotates really, refreshes relatively quick anyway. So it's just, who gives a shit? Just press that just to do extra damage. So it doesn't matter. So at this point, you just conjunction turn 1. I honestly didn't really care whether the debuffs are there or not. I just attack because you're not taking any freaking damage. So this turn is relatively straightforward as well, because the light guy, Mr. Drake, has already lanced. So the light guy lanced. I'm safe to go through. I will take probably no damage as well. As you can see, I'm still relatively healthy. So for this part, usually that's what I tend to do, because usually this is going to be gravity, right? So, but you know, this is a little bit different too. I forgot to mention, because we didn't have like only one gravity, right? Like single target gravity, because usually you kind of want to have the wing to Ogi first, right? But because you're running some like 4 or 5 man meme thing, so it doesn't. We have both targets to gravity, so that doesn't really matter too much. It's still somewhat okay as a dark player, especially if you're using someone like my setup. But oh yeah, another thing you probably want to keep in mind, if you're using the likes of Vikala, you can probably somewhat remove the spell on MC if you're using her. But like, sometimes I tend to kind of want to put dispel in there, because sometimes her dodge thing can be a little bit unreliable. But that's honestly up to you. Usually she kind of works. You don't really have to do that. So yeah. Anyway, you can probably use, I mean, because it's kind of hard for me to say there's so many other characters that you can slot in and shit, right? But like, it really just needs you for Dark especially, right? Dark should not have problems doing damage, because if you're using Magna Grid, you're using those 3 sticks and shit. And number 2 is that you have your own Baha, right? That, or you're using someone else's Baha. So either way, it works. So anyway, you have 3 sticks, Avatar sticks, and your Baha. You definitely do their 10 million damage relatively easy anyway. So you should not be worried about that at all if I were you. And anyway, other than that, majority of the setups, like whichever combinations you want to use for Dark, is honestly fine. Because for me, it's just more like, I just need like a little bit of sustain and a little bit of like dispelling, then, which is more than enough. So for my case, I chose Black Knight as the dispeller. You can probably use other characters for dispel. Like I say, you can use Vikala, you can use like fucking whatever other dark characters. There's so many dark characters that can dispel too. So maybe you just slot in one character with dispel, and then you just put in your own dispel if you're scared, or if not, if you have extra dispels or whatever, like say you have 2 characters that can dispel, like if you're using Vikala and Black Knight for example, even though that's a bad idea because both of them are humans, but let's just say if you're doing that and you're killing off someone at 25 and then you're bringing some random character or some shit, if you're doing that, then I would highly suggest you to just, I don't know, just put a sub and clear or something instead of that. But yeah, you can do a lot of shit anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. So anyway, for this part, again, going back to this part, what I tend to do is that I would just want to cycle the skills relatively okay. So because at this point, if you don't Ogi at all, your 6 will be at full meter, or everyone else will be easily at full meter anyway. So you can do like a very nice nuke, and what happens is that you can take a free turn with 6, because you really don't want to take a lot of damage right now with Iblis and shit. But if you're using like Migrant, you probably won't take too much damage anyway. But free nuke, why not? Right? So yeah, you just Ogi with 6S2, you take no damage. Just that you get debuffed to Oblivion. So for this one, usually I'll have my summons up already, because usually you stuck at the first 3 turns, right? First 3 turns you can use summons, but since I already gone through 3 turns, the summons usually just use whatever, really. I just use Hades just so I can get more meter again and stuff, so I can nuke faster and stuff, blah blah blah. So at this point, usually what I tend to do is just wait for everyone to go through the Iblis, because they are like 1 turn behind and shit. Then I'll wait for them, then I will clear, because since I'm helping with the clears and shit. Yeah, so here I am just waiting to stay behind, and also because it's also 69, we're waiting for the people to debuff, like the wind guy. Magic, I mean. God's plan. So, another thing you can probably do is that usually I would also do like, I can assure you that 6S3 is literally fucking useless most of the time, but I just pressed it because why the fuck not? I mean, it's just extra nuke, why not, right? Extra nuke, and maybe hopefully I could just, you know, get lucky and just dodge everything, right? Because of the accuracy down and shit. So yeah, the first thing you want to do, you definitely want to delay the main body there. Because the whole strat is that this is what I usually try to do. The first 50% of the wing as my setup, right? What I usually try to do is try to set up to the point that 6S2 is back up before labor. That's why I always usually try to aim. You really don't have to do that, because especially if you have enough DPS, you can kind of negate that in a way. But if you want to play safe, you kind of want to do that, because Phosphorus can somewhat kill you. If you didn't know that. So Phosphorus can be very, very painful, especially if you do not have your own sub. But if you have your own sub, by all means, you just use subs or some shit. But because I'm not running subs, so that's how I usually try to do for my runs. I try to get 6S2 up and running before then. So what the plan is, so I delay the main body. This is okay. So this is to really pray that I don't whiff a single delay. This is usually I pray that I don't whiff a single delay. But if I do fuck up my delays or whatever, that's still not too bad, because I don't think I take too much damage anyway with 2 coconut trees. So yeah, you go through this thing, and the main reason why is that it's not just because of the whole Iblis thing hurting a lot and shit and all the debuffs. It's also because you kind of want to get rid of this stupid apple thing. You really don't want to nuke with this apple buff on you. So that's why you need to go bypass 2 turns, because the thing lasts for 2 turns. So yeah, this part is still okay. So right now I'm just waiting for Langs, and my MC's Dispel is up, right? My MC's Dispel is up, but I do not press that. I'm just gonna go through the turn, because I'm gonna use Black Knight's S1 in the following turn, because it's gonna delay and dispel. You have to keep in mind, Black Knight's S1 is very OP for this raid, because it double delays, double dispel. You can whiff though. Dispel won't whiff. The delays will though. So yeah, waiting for Langs. There we go, waiting for Langs. Okay, got my Langs, and then I just attack the main body, because I was thinking like maybe the wing might, I don't know, die out very soon. And usually this part I just press Zoe S3, because why not? You can get extra debuff resistance and some other shit. So yeah. Okay, so everything delayed, so that's good. I can go through 2 more turns, but this usually sometimes doesn't happen if you deal too much damage. In other words, suffering from success. So if you go through at that time, if it's already like too much damage, or if it's too little damage, that's still fine. So you can still go through just fine right now. I just need a Langs. Usually kind of want to go through with Langs. So yeah, daily reminder that you really shouldn't go through without Langs, especially if you're new, okay? Typically I could try, but I'd rather not. So yeah, waiting for people to set up, and someone's Langs now, so like sure. But like, so I noticed I didn't want to press at this point. I didn't really want to press because it's already at 52 and 96, and I know I'm very confident to how much my damage usually does. So that's why I kind of like, I think it's better for me to sit behind. And what I tend to do is that, because it's also already 96, my guess is that the Earth guy will probably do decent amount of damage, which probably is going to hit to like 93 or some shit. Then I was thinking like, if it's already 93, it should be fine. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to nuke past 95, because I know how much damage I can actually do. So for your case, you probably want to not do it what I did, because this is kind of like how I did it. But if you're afraid, you can just ask for like someone to provide you like fucking mirror or some shit. Or if not, you have like, if you have the likes of say Valentine Clarice, that's obviously probably the better character, because you can just press the S1 and you're fine, right? But yeah, so usually for this, I kind of want to prefer to get his 6S2 up and running, but because it's already so low, I prefer to not do that. So I ended up just waiting. I think it's fine because I'm probably going to overnuke. See, the Earth guy went through, it's already 93. So I was like, you know what? That's fine. I'm just going to nuke it anyway. So yeah, it's already 90. I nuked it. It's definitely going to go past 90. So I'm not going to take phosphorus there. So that's fine. But the one thing you probably want to be very careful here onwards is that if you're going with the whole, say, what you're going with the green apple strat or whatever shit, right? Or maybe other raid members as well. If they're going the green apple strat, they're probably going to heal the main body. So you need to pay very close attention to the fact that the main body must not go to 91. If it goes to 91, you're probably going to hit to phosphorus. So what you want to do usually that if it's 91, you either just smack it down to 90 and it won't do that anymore, or you just have someone else to smack it to 90 and yeah, shit like that. So this part here is just like free for all kind of shit for me. I just press that and just press, I think, and also at this point I could actually press 6S1 because it's already up, but usually I don't really do that like immediately because the Paradise Lost the labor is still up, which is 11. So the main reason why I do not want to do that is because his S1 is probably going to get dispelled almost immediately. So I don't want to do that. Because usually I don't really buff myself like crazy just so you can overlap or some shit. Because it usually tends to overlap based on which buff you actually use it like previously. So like the two latest buffs that you have, it will be dispelled, right? So that's why. I don't really have too many buffs on my team, so 6 is definitely going to be dispelled there. So I don't want to waste his S1 just like that. That's why I kind of refrain myself from doing that. So right now, I think I want to Langs, but I'm just waiting if they're ready for Langs or some shit. Or if they're nuking to 85 or something. Yeah, so okay, I Langs. There's no reason for me to dispel yet because... yeah. And I pot there. I actually pot there because I wasn't too confident that on the RNG, because there are chances that even though the overdrive Ogi right now is Axiom Apocalypse, it usually doesn't hit that harsh because I do not have any stacks right now. But I usually do that, not usually do that. On this specific one, I did that because I was afraid that I would die, or like I get really unlucky to the fact that it just lands all on like single target or some shit. But little did I not know that I'm a fucking god, that I didn't take much damage at all. Also, and another thing is that if you're using Black Knight, right, you really need to pay attention to her S4. Her S4 is something that you really want to pay attention to, because I remember I killed the whole run before with the S4. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the chat guys actually know which run I'm referring to. It was not too long ago. But yeah. So you do that, it should be fine. Okay, so now because he did Axiom Apocalypse, he's already at 2 stacks. So obviously, yeah, make sure you dispel that. And because I was also told, if I recall correctly, on this specific run, I said I could potentially do Paradise Lost, but I think someone else, I think Mr. Drake or the Light Bro was doing it. So I just said, you know what? Okay, sure, I'll just let you do it then. I'll just take the fucking green apple or some shit. Because usually at this point, you kind of want to delay the thing a little bit so you can, you know, excuse me, get enough like you can get the diamonds. You play around the diamonds to the point that you can get enough to Paradise Lost and shit. So yeah. So at this point, you really do not want to press any skills until you get cleared, because you got zombie fight and shit. I just use my Hades off cooldown usually, because free meter, why not? So now once again, waiting for Lances again. Usually, for my specific dark team is like, I wouldn't really want to take free turns unless I have like full cut or some shit like that. Like, especially with like not having enough Lances and some shit. So I prefer to not do that. So for that in particular, I just took a free turn. I took a turn because there was a Lancer already and just go through a turn, I guess. So now I'm just healing myself up because why not? I needed to cast S4 again. I decided to cast the Zoe because muscle memory. That's just muscle memory stuff. You could potentially put it on like MC or some shit, but I usually put it on Zoe because she doesn't have a lot of HP, the usual stuff. So yeah, remember, I just go through. Right now, nobody is ready for 85 yet. That's why we're just waiting right now, and everyone was like healing the wing. I mean the main body to some shit. So I remember I went through. Yeah, so that's the thing. I went through, fucking to 90. I skipped the phosphorus, but like I actually nuke it again to pass 90. But like I just did that just in case that I need to do it, you know, just so I don't die. Because what if my damage sucks ass, right? But I'm pretty certain that my damage doesn't suck at that time. So I did that. And for this part, Paradise Lost is not done yet. But then I was like, okay, you know what? Since nobody's doing it, I'm just gonna do it. That's why I went to clear some of my shit. I can't press. You really don't want to press Black Knight S1 there, because it's gonna do that thing. Because I'm the one gonna do Paradise Lost, right? So what I'm gonna do is that I keyring and hopefully I land my delay on the main body, and hopefully no one gravities as well. So yeah. And then it it whiffs, so that's me fucking being salty and shit. So what's gonna happen is that I cry. I tried to do it and it whiffed. So I'm hoping that someone hits gravity on him or some shit at this point. But then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking do this. Yeah, I was like, fuck it, man. I'll just do it again. I'll just use Black Knight S1 and do it again. It's fucking sucks, but yeah, I have to, because nobody else can deal with what's that, Paradise Lost at that time. The other reason is that I think, if I recall correctly, the light guy was using something else, right? That's why. Or more like his diamonds are a little bit fucked up or some shit. He couldn't get it done anytime soon too. So I was saying like I could get it done in 2 turns. That is if I have to keyring again, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I have to keyring again here if I want to get the thing up. So right now I'm just wondering if I should just continue attacking the main body. Oh, this one is just, oh, well, this part you change the Typhoon. Okay, that's why. Yeah, so it's like okay, so this is the other thing, right? If you haven't cleared Paradise Lost, right? Paradise Lost yet, you really do not want to kill off the wing. You have to kill off the wing only after Paradise Lost done. Most of the time, because once the wing is dead, you can't get Paradise Lost done until 10%. Yes, I remember. So Paradise Lost Glaber is probably one of the most annoying ones because it dispels you, right? So you really want to get that done as fast as you can usually. So at this point, we have to push the main body. And usually like skill base wise, honestly, it's not really like a big deal in general. So because I already keyring, you can probably just use everything off the bat. But honestly, I think it doesn't really matter too much anyway, especially for Zoe's skills. And yeah, I guess because my skills are all still up and running, I'm wondering if someone is hitting it to 75. But then it's like, you know what? someone else managed to do the Paradise Lost. That's why I was also technically just waiting there like crazy. Because I think if I recall correctly, I think it was Claim, the Earth guy. I think Claim was the one that did the Paradise Lost. So that's the one of the main reasons why I didn't really want to press too much. So if you go back a little bit for like a few seconds there. Okay, so the one thing you want to keep in mind here or pay attention to is that because the wing is already dying, right? The other thing, if you guys usually don't see on my streams or whatever, or my runs, is that at 75% he does have a trigger. He does the atheism thingy. So what that does is that it basically does like a random element, only one element by the way, a random element shield and a debuff shield. So what usually that tends to be is that it picks a random element and you will need that specific element to do 10 million damage in one turn in order for you to get rid of that stupid buff on him. The other one is usually negated if you're the fire player because you need only 6 debuffs or more to get rid of it because you know Anira just makes things so much easier. So that's one of the main reasons why I do not want to attack, because I feel like if I attack, there's a chance that it might do that, and we really don't want the shield trigger at this point because, you know, once again we're only running with 5 players. So if it RNGs into that one element that we do not have, then yeah, we might actually be scuffed on damage, and we really don't want that to happen. So yeah, that's why we just waited, and hopefully someone can clear Paradise Lost quickly, and then we just kill off the wing, which literally was just what happened in this run. Because I was saying, like, I didn't, because I have 2 Kirins in my setup. I really do not want to use a Kirin. That's the thing. Because using a Kirin again just for that, it's just like waste. It just burns all my very, very strong skills, like having another conjunction or some shit. So that fucking sucks. So thankfully, Paradise Lost is done. We nuked that shit down. So it's dead. So the atheism stuff doesn't appear as well because the wing is dead. So this one, from this part onwards, is relatively straightforward already. So you just go through, same thing. Just make sure you have Langs. You're healthy enough. Orbital Blackness is the overdrive Ogi now. So yeah, Orbital shouldn't deal too much damage as long as you keep your stacks relatively low. 2 is pretty darn high, but is honestly okay. So same thing, just Langs whenever you can, and then you just go through. But from what I'm doing right now is that I'm very likely setting up for conjunction for 60 instead. Because if you have conjunction, you can actually go through 60 just fine as well. See, that's what I did. So my guess is that I'm probably going to hit that Bahamut. Actually, I did not. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so if you have conjunction, you will survive here. But sometimes if you do not have enough HP, you might actually die to the plane damage. So that's a thing that you probably want to keep in mind. So dispel it. Make sure you keep dispelling because it was already 3 stacks. And then I saw someone hit a Typhoon, so I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking grab that because I don't want it to Ogi again. Because if it Ogis again, it's gonna go to 3 stacks, and then I'm just gonna wait for Black Knight's S1 again. Because Black Knight's S1 may actually take a while to to refresh. And the other thing is that I kind of want to save my final Kirin for like 25 most of the time, because that's kind of like the ideal setup most of the time. And yeah, so now, because why not, you can just use his S1 to do damage, because you know this is just really all about DPSing it down. And Black Knight's S1 came up just perfect timing, so I just used that so I can delay it and hopefully don't get Ogi'd, and also double dispel. So now the stacks is empty again, so it makes things so much better. So now I shouldn't take too much damage, and I still have my MET up, so I'm still doing relatively good damage. And now it's at 30%. We are doing very, very good damage. So I'm just passing through turns, because why the fuck not? Look at 6 damage. Wow, so OP. So usually at this point as well, I kind of want to save a nuke, because I know for a fact that I can nuke really, really hard with my full Ogi and shit. And not to mention 6 is going to do the free nuke thingy with his some smash nuke, because he has his passive OP passive thing. So yeah, this is the part where I'm gonna Kirin. So yeah, Kirin, I use all the skills because why not? Use all the skills, Kirin, and just use whatever. Because I noticed that my Black Knight's S4 is off, so I just decided to cast that again, and then I just press Zoe skills and whatever nuke shit, then I just nuke. But I decided to just attack anyway, so I can go through the whatever shit and save for later. Usually you should nuke there actually. That was a mistake on my part. I should have nuked there because I probably have pushed it to 15, but there are probably times where maybe your raid members are like they are not ready for like 15 or whatever. They have gone through 20% trigger, but they haven't gone through the 15 and they're not ready. They want to cycle that shit, right? So at that point, you kind of should, hold back a little bit as well. I'm guessing that's what I did, or if not, I just made a mistake. I should have nuked there. So it really just depends on like whatever specific setup that you're going with your raid party and shit like that. So it's just really up to you. At this point, it's pretty free actually. It's pretty free because you can use 6S2 to negate his Axiom Apocalypse, as long as you're Ogi, that is. And or you can just use MC sub if you so have it. If not, then well, you have to try and cycle it and go through turns like the one I said before if you're not in that position yet. So yeah, I know for a fact that I'm gonna nuke it 2% at least, so I'm gonna do that and bypass the 20% trigger. So I'm also watching the damage just so I made sure. Yeah, I was just double checking and see if I actually hit it to 15 without. Yeah, so I did hit it to 15 with my nukes, so that's good. So at this point, it's also just trying to push it to 10%, which is relatively free as well. Because stacks is at 3 already, you kind of want to dispel anyway whenever you can. So yeah, dispel. And then I saw it's 11 already. So this is the time that if you want to go through 10%, you definitely want a conjunction. So that's what I'm going to do. Yes, conjunction. Something to keep in mind is that if you want to go through this and if you have labors up, right? Like specific labors are still up. So like Tiof is still going to be there. It's going to do plane damage and shit. There is a chance that you might die to plane damage, by the way. Just FYI. Because if you just do conjunction and you attack, there's a chance for you to die if you do not have crazy amount of HP. And all the plane damage just decides to land all on one character. So there's a chance for you to die. So if you really want to be on the safe side, if you kind of notice I didn't really pot too much, you could potentially have enough pots at this point. If you're going through the green apple and shit, usually if you've gone through the green apple, you shouldn't need to use pots anyway. And if you have Kirins, you can cycle through conjunctions just fine. And then you can just use a blue pot here, just in case, right? But I think I did not. I'm the guy, I just say it's like, okay, you want me to go through 10%? So I was like, alright, I'll go through 10%. So yeah, I went through 10%. I decided to watch if I get unlucky or some shit. Did I? I did not. So that's great. So yeah, as you notice, right, if I actually took all the plane damage on one character, there's a chance of me to die there. So yeah, that's something you should probably keep in mind if you're playing Dark and if you're gonna go conjunction for turn at 10% or some shit. So it's already at 1%. It's kind of straightforward. Just auto and should die already. I mean, I have enough DPS to actually get through that. So yeah, nice loot. Got a grain and that stupid anima. So yeah, that's pretty much how my Dark runs tends to be. It just really depends on your character, but honestly, you really shouldn't worry about that too much because Dark has like so many fucking crazy amount of characters. Like I think if you actually go check my tier list, I did put like quite a few characters. I know this is still heavily a work in progress, but you can still kind of like look at it and see if he helps you or not. Because like I do have a Faa-san thing here. Chat, you're going away. You can stay up there if you want, chat. But yeah, you can just look at whichever element that you want. I know usually this is like a must-have. The don't really have to, but yeah, this is just more like for like generic stuff. There is no such thing as which character is better, like this one is like the best ones you should need. No. I didn't really arrange them in any way, shape, or form. Did I actually play that sound effect by accident? Probably not. So you can just kind of see which characters are nice, but yeah, so basically these ones, if you have any of these characters, or you can slot in all these characters, honestly you're probably gonna do just fine, as long as you have like, you just, you know, place the characters, use the characters that doesn't have like any duplicates or whatever shit. Unless you have to do it, then you just go let everyone know that how many counters are you taking at 25%. So as you can see, I did put in a lot of characters in here for Dark, because Dark has a lot of characters that you can play and can make use of. But honestly, like the likes of Nia and the likes of Rei and even Baseraga, I would say, is probably one of those few characters that you really shouldn't use if you're relatively new. Kolulu can be really, really strong too, but she can be a little bit risky at times because you really don't want to press her third skill too much in that case. But if you're using like the typical, like, yeah, the Vikala, you can Clarice, even Vampy, I think that's fine too. And then you can even use her if you want to, as in Fairy. You can even use Shalim too. Or even her if you want. I mean, the Idols is fine. Even this stupid Christmas Rosetta is actually somewhat okay because they have these spells and shit. So it's pretty okay. So yeah, you have a lot of choices as Dark. But yes. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much about my commentary, I guess. My commentary series on Faa, on my runs, on like what I usually do. Basically just going into my head and why I do this and that and shit like that. So that's it for my Dark. Hopefully find this helpful or useful, whichever. Like, subscribe, I guess, and see you guys on the next video. Comment Jiki or something in the comments.